Alright, we are back to part 2 of this Mage 101 series. So I'm going to talk about add-ons really quickly, and I'm going to talk about the quote-unquote rotation for mages, which is already kind of a meme, but we'll get into a little bit of... So the first thing I want to talk about is add-ons, the ones... I'll show you the entire list that I have, but I'll talk about the ones that I think are strictly necessary for PvE rating in Classic. I have weak auras. I think you can live without this. I just have it for some incidental reason. Character stats classic. Can I open this? Just makes the character pane look like the Burning Crusade pane. Shows your spell power / oops. Stats really easily. Put my PvE gear on. 2 of 10. To help me with something else. Deadly boss mods. Absolutely required before you step foot in a raid. Do not enter without deadly boss mods. The other one that I have, I actually don't use, but if you're new to Mage, it's super important. It's called Quartz. It's just a casting bar replacement. And then the last one, I think I said last one twice, but whatever, is Decursive. This is just a little nice tool to help you decurse. Okay. You can see it right here, kind of just barely. There are these 2 little boxes. There's one for me, one for Butters here, who's generously helping out by being in the group. So if somebody gets cursed, the box will light up and it'll go donk, and you just click on it. You don't even lose your target. You can decurse. So I'll go in, and now this bar right here, this is my quartz bar. And if you look at the red thing right there, that is your like dead zone on how much lag is in the game before you can cast another spell. Classic is actually way more generous than that. You have 300 milliseconds because of a thing called spell batching, which is how the servers used to work. Basically, it would say every 300 milliseconds, we're just going to process all the spells that are in the air. Whatever happens, happens. So you have a ton of dead time. You can sit here and mash Frostbolt if you really want to. That'll also give you, you know, Carpal Tunnel, so there's no reason to really do that. I'm pressing it now, and I queued up another one despite not being in the red zone. Now, if you do this enough, you can do it by feel. So that's really all I have in the way of add-ons. The things I'll talk about really quickly are the quote-unquote rotations. Basically, it's just casting Frostbolt if you're a Frost Mage. It's kind of the gag. If you are the Winter's Chillbot, one little trick you can do is to get to 5 stacks quickly. You can cast rank 1 Frostbolts because with Frostbolt, they're only 1 second. So you can get boom, 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 boom. I don't have Winter's Chill on, but you get the idea. You can throw out a bunch really quickly to get to 5 stacks, so all the rest of your mages can start doing max damage. So once 5 stacks are on the boss, if you're the AP Frost Mage, you're going to pop Arcane Power. And then you're going to keep an eye on your Arcane Power duration. I'll pull another one. You guys can kind of get an idea. So AP's going. I'm going to keep an eye on the duration there. And if there's a case where I can't fit another 2.5 second Frostbolt in, or I have to move, that's when I'm going to use Presence of Mind and fire an instant cast Frostbolt. Usually, because of the way there's a little bit of the lag in the game, you always end up palming a Frostbolt at the end, Presence of Mind, at the end of the Arcane Power, just because there's like a little bit of input delay. You can't neatly fit. Theoretically, you should be able to fit exactly 6 Frostbolts in, but that is almost never the case. So usually you end up doing it at the end. You don't want to do it if you can avoid it, though, because you still get the global cooldown. There's a 1.5 second delay. You can watch my bars here. That little spinny thing, that's the global cooldown before you can input another action. And that's the reason why you don't want to cast other things in the middle of combat, like Fire Blast, is because the damage is not worth the global cooldown when you can just be spamming out Frostbolts. There are times when it's appropriate to Fire Blast. It's mainly to finish off a high priority ad very quickly. Just tap it and get some burst damage in. As for AoE, you have Cone of Cold and you have Blizzard for your mana efficient option. This depends more on your gear level. You have relatively low gear and you're newer to raiding, you have a smaller mana pool. Blizzard is probably the option you want to go with. Otherwise, you want to run in, and usually you're going to use Cone of Cold on cooldown, and then Arcane Power. This is your, not Arcane Power, Arcane Explosion, excuse me. This is your burst option, but it's much more mana intensive. You can offset that, obviously, with Potion. Your one other cooldown is Evocation. This restores a bunch of mana as a channel. Again, this is a thing that you may or may not actually have to use. The fights in Molten Core, at least, are very short. Our average kill is like a minute for most bosses. So if your gear level is large enough, you can usually get away with just your mana gem. The one thing that you want to be careful about is watching for boss mechanics. So you don't want to be forced to move right as you start an evocate. So if you need to, like, let's say there's a decurse wave on Lucifron, you decurse a bunch and then you evocate if you can. Like, you want to prioritize that. Obviously, use your best judgment. You're a smart person. You can figure it out. But just keep that in mind. That is, I think, really it. Oh, no, we want to talk about fire really quickly. This will be for later stuff again. Anchorage onward. If you're the fire mages, you're going to get to 5 stacks of Scorch, improved Scorch on the boss. Then you're going to pop Combustion as that happens, and you're just going to spam Fireball. Same deal. There's no trick. It's pretty brain dead. It's kind of a one-button class. But welcome to Classic. So that's all I've got for you in terms of the rating rotation. And I will see you guys next. We'll talk about gear and stats and a little bit of how the game works on the back end.